Welcome everyone, welcome back. Today's video is the second round of Criterium Cavalier, the Knight Division team match that we just played. So I am the team captain for this, and I was playing at the first table, the first chessboard. There's four of us facing off another team of four people, and yeah, this round was kind of exceptional because we had a the the other team called me, the captain called me and said that one of their players wasn't coming. So they basically got a forfeit right off the bat. And then when we showed up, we saw that, or I saw pretty quickly that the rating gap was pretty big. There's a couple of us that are 1700s, and they were all about 1500 or lower. So without further ado, let me just jump into this game. My opponent was rated, gosh, I didn't write on this analysis. I didn't put it in the analysis, but I think he was rated 15, like 30, 1540. And I am currently 1730 or 1740. I have the black pieces. And my opponent opens up with d4. So I have been going knight f6 and playing the NIMZO setup against the Queen's Gambit. So knight c3, and lately I've faced so many different d4 or c4 openings. Like I'm a bit confused on all of it. But for sure against a classic Queen's Gambit, like I'm going bishop b4, and my opponent immediately plays a3. So I snapped the knight off. This much I was familiar with. And then on move 5, you can tell how much oh, actually, hold on. Is the computer actually... Am I thinking about a different game? I swear I analyzed this and the computer said the d5 was the move. Is that even a good move? Okay, so that was weird. The computer, when I analyzed it, said b6 was not good, but I was just following what I know. So b6, which looks like we're still in theory, and then my opponent plays bishop g5 right away. New move for me with this setup. Like I have been, just so you guys know, I was previously playing just like a semi-Slav setup and going e6, d5. Sometimes I would, yeah, I played a lot of different lines, but I've just switched to the NIMZO and the NIMZO-Indian. And so this is a new move for me. I decided there's no real big threat or issue here. It is kind of challenging because I, like that knight and I want to maybe jump it forward, but I can't. So I immediately go h6 just to ask the bishop a question, see what he wants to do. Bishop goes back to h4, and then I keep developing with bishop b7. And then my opponent goes knight f3. So at this point, like, all I know is the basic d6 setup, swing the knight out to d7. Sometimes I guess it comes out to c6, but like really I haven't gone over the lines enough. I haven't studied this opening and used it enough to really start getting good at it. So I'm kind of just playing off of like what looks like good sound moves. I can't, I need to develop this knight. I don't think I want to bring it here. So I have to play d6, and d6 does also kind of, control some center squares. Anywho, so d6, e3, pretty understandable. He needs to get the white bishop out. I go knight b to d7, and so far we're looking pretty good. One thing we can note so far is that the evaluation bar is actually giving black already a slight advantage. So I'm already slightly better here. To be honest, I don't entirely know other than the doubled pawns. Like white has a pretty good center, but he does have the doubled pawns. Maybe it was the bishop g4 or g5 move. I don't know. But in any case, bishop d3, the computer does not apparently like this. And I'm actually, yeah, so the computer doesn't like this and instead wants knight d2. Well, that's not an obvious move. I don't really... Knight d2. I'm not really sure what the plan is here. Let's see. Knight d2, e5, f3. Yeah, this is looking very computer-like. I don't like taking away some squares, maybe creating space for the bishop. I don't know what the hell this is about, but what I can say is that in this position, I decided I'm playing a lower rated opponent. And I've been playing some pretty decent opponents lately. So I feel like, you know, I feel confident whether I'm winning or losing those games. I feel confident. And I kind of felt like, you know what, I'm going to challenge him. I'm going to play aggressively. I was also going into this match with the idea that, or remembering that the last match that I played over the board was against an 18, let's just say he was in like 1900. And I actually was fine. Like I played a decent game, but I just played too slow. And then more importantly, way too passively. I was scared because he was higher rated. The context, like the context of the match was kind of stressful. And that kind of pissed me off because I was like, why am I playing so, it not pissed me off, but you got to play like confidently. The worst thing you can do is tell yourself the opponent you're playing is really good and you don't stand a chance or whatever, is going on in your mind. So I'm going into this like, no. I'm attacking. I'm bringing the fight to him. He has this weird bishop on h4. And my plan was basically to play g5 and then maybe hop the knight into e4, but either way, I'm probably going to immediately start attacking him on the king side, especially if he castles. So bishop g3, great move here. And then I go for knight e4. Computer doesn't love this. It actually wants h5 right away, which, yeah, in a classical game is not the most obvious just because you're hanging the g5 pawn. If he takes with the knight, h4 traps the bishop. So this totally did not see this. This idea. Yeah, I mean, h5, like he could just try to stop it if he sees that it traps the bishop by going maybe h3, and then I don't even know, knight e4 is now the best move, or h4. But I'm not so sure about this. Rook g8. So yeah, we're already going for like a full-on kingside attack. This is what the computer would have liked, but I decided to first jump my knight into e4. I just thought it was a decent square. I am technically attacking a pawn, so I don't think it's an awful move. But and then my plan was also to free that space up so I could play f5 in the future. Knight e4. My opponent takes some time here. Keep in mind, I am slightly up on the clock. I think it was kind of even in the beginning, and then I really wanted to keep the advantage on the clock, so managed to do that. He snaps the knight off. I think he was kind of scared of that knight, and I didn't think bishop taking was the best move, but probably wasn't awful either. So we trade the bishops off, and then he castles. And at this point, I'm thinking, okay, like I have to attack here. I've already committed to h6 g5, and like I'm clearly not castling into a super safe position, although I guess if I bring the bishop back it could be okay. So like I'm attacking, and I decide here to immediately go h5. I kind of like sometimes playing with my king just in the center because like he's actually really safe here. I need to make sure I develop the other pieces, and eventually, yes, I'd like to connect the rooks, but like my king is pretty safe, and if we flip the board here, I would not want to be playing as white. Like, you just castled. First of all, I don't think I would have castled here. Not short, at least. But I'm not sure really what would, the pawn structure's damaged on this side, on the queen side. Yeah, maybe that's why black already had an advantage. But doesn't look fun. This doesn't look fun to play against. So, h5, excellent, but queen f6 is the best move. I was eyeing this, but I thought, like, yeah, but maybe I bring the queen over to play f5, but temporarily I can't. It prevents me from playing f5. So h5, I am making some threats here. He can't take on g5 now, and yeah, I'm threatening to trap the bishop. So he moves the knight, goes back to d2, and this is kind of my first miss. This is my first missed win. As you guys can see, this is a mistake, and I'm winning a piece here, basically. So there's an intermediate move. Instead, I played, let me just show you guys, I just dropped the bishop back, which was kind of silly. I anticipated this move and was thinking, okay, I just dropped the bishop back. But you always gotta double check and ask yourself, like, what moves am I maybe missing? And in this scenario, we are threatening to trap the bishop, right? And he's counterattacking. He's counterattacking my undefended bishop. So in that situation, you can always ask yourself, can I counterattack the attacked piece, which then makes it so that there are two pieces being attacked at the same time. So I'm attacking the rook. He can't then go and counterattack my bishop, right? He's got to move it. And then I'm free to play h4, and I'm winning a piece here. So it doesn't really matter how you go about it. And I missed that. I went back to b7. So that's the first miss. My opponent plays f3 here, and I had all sorts of things I was like thinking and calculating. I'm analyzing this a little bit after the game, but I did not see f3 for some reason. I don't know why I didn't think that was possible. My plan, I think, was for him to, like, if he played h3, to play, I don't know, to just try to bust open the king side, but I didn't even consider f3. So he played f3, and I went for h4 anyways. I'm just trying to get these pawns forward and bust open the king side. Black is already up about a little bit over 1 point, so I'm better. And I think it's pretty obvious to see why. I've got this awesome sniper bishop. My king's pretty safe. My pawn structure is sound, and white's is not. And white's king is kind of not safe. Boom, f5. This is an inaccuracy. The computer wants g4 right away. So let's just take a look at this, because I don't remember off the top of my head. G4, and then if takes, h3. If he pushes, it obviously opens up this crazy diagonal, but I just was not entirely sure how to get my queen and my other pieces like over there. Yeah, obviously if he takes, that's like game over, I think, opening up the H file. I didn't see this. I didn't consider g4, not the most obvious move to my eyes. It makes some sense, but I thought that f5, clearly I'm no longer castling short. I don't think so. I actually could consider it at some point, but like, this is just, I'm going all out on the kingside attack. And I wanted to play f5 because then it can prevent sometimes, you know, him from closing the position and pushing certain pawns. Anyways, f5. And my opponent counter responded with e4, which is the best move here. I'm obviously attacking the king side, so he's going to try to bust open the center and counter attack in the center. And I went with queen f6. I just really wanted to get the queen over towards the king side, and this kind of helps protect all these pawns here. And then a4. I don't like, this just seemed to really slow to me, but I didn't want him to play a5, so I went ahead and responded with a5 myself. Yeah, not necessary. Like, it's just one of those moves where I was pretty sure it wasn't the best, but I went ahead and just said, hey, I'm just going to play this to stop any of those ideas, and then I'll get back with my plan. The computer here wants long castles already. Yeah, like I can just wait. Long castles or h3? Yeah, it really wants h3. a5, queen e2. This move kind of confused me. I was wondering what was I expecting him to play? I think I was looking at all these like pawn breaks. And queen e2 was not the move that I expected, and I did kind of think it was maybe slightly inaccurate. It does put some pressure on my king, but like I'm gonna castle anyways. So here I just decided to long castle. Yes, there are some pawns coming here, but I just kind of figured my attack was faster and better. So long castles, and then knight b3. Here, my opponent is starting to challenge me. I can see very clearly. I noticed the idea of playing c5. Now, before, if my opponent had ever played c5 here, then I can just like take. With the bishop there, it's not so obvious because then I have to take back and open up my king side. But basically, before the bishop was there, if he ever played c5, it just didn't work. So it would be like take with the knight, and I plant my knight on a nice square there. So he's really preparing c5, and I ignore it, and I go g4. And this is, I think, important because, like, if I had all of a sudden decided to panic, you know, and try to defend against my opponent's attack, I think this is very typical of, like, lower, maybe, like, let's say on chess.com, like, 1100 to 15, 1600. It's very easy to kind of panic when you see a threat. You think, oh, I have to respond to it. And it really, really is important, I've noticed, in higher play, like above the 15, 16, 1700. Like, it's super important to ask yourself, do you need to respond to that threat? Do you absolutely need to, or do you have a stronger threat that you can create just in general, keeping that aggressive attacking mentality, but of course, double checking to make sure it works? I don't need to do anything about this. Like, white's attack is so distant compared to what's about to happen here. I'm one move away from bringing the rooks, having both rooks lined up. I've got this insane bishop. Like, this just, looks intimidating. So I ignore it. I play g4. The computer actually wants rook. What did I want? Rook h to g8. What? That doesn't make sense. I figured it would want both rooks. So the computer actually wants rook h to g8 instead of this one. Not. No, it likes both. Both are fine. Rook d to g8 is fine too. This is the best move. I play g4 right away first. And my opponent responds with c5, which, hey, you got to try. Like, I think it's worth trying this, because if I buckle and start, I don't know, let's just say I do something stupid, like let's say I take, that's a miss, and I'm already giving away a lot of my advantage. Especially if I were to take this way, like, we are literally even now. One small mistake in trying to respond to my opponent's attack, as you guys can see, and it completely diminishes. So right now, black is like almost 5 points up. I'm winning this. And so I throw in this move. G takes h3, G takes f3, sorry. Which I thought was a good move because it's forcing. He has to respond to this. He can't do anything over here because I'm hitting his queen. I'm also opening up the G file. So it's kind of like an intermediate move that I can throw in there. And yeah, obviously if he takes with the pawn, that's like game over. If he takes with the queen, it's still fine because I wanted to open up the H file. Sorry, the G file. He responds with queen e3, and yeah, things get really interesting here. I felt like the win was not very far away. I decided to go rook g8 finally. Queen g. So if I remember, this is fine. This move is fine. That's good. I didn't think, so this is kind of the second big miss. I didn't think that queen g6 or queen g7 was... I didn't even look at this because I just thought, well, let's activate all my pieces and bring all my pieces into the attack. The rook being, the rook on the D file, or the D8 being the first piece I would think of, because it's like not really doing much, unless this opens up. But by going queen here, I'm threatening mate in 1. This is not mate in 1. This would not be mate in 1. It's not even checkmate, because like if I could move that pawn maybe and push it and have a discovered attack, like maybe, but I can't. So this is just looks really good, but I hadn't even considered this move, queen g7 or queen g6. And this is actually the best, I think, because let's say queen takes f3. What's the continuation here? First we can, if the queen takes, which he like almost has to, seriously, like, because if he pushes, then it just looks like, oof, it looks like game over. I think there's even some sacrifices here. And then let's say bishop takes, rook takes it. Yeah, we can literally go rook takes h2. You can't take with a bishop. King takes, and it's mate in 3 now. Rook 8, h8 check, and then checkmate. So that's how powerful this attack is. And I just didn't think of doing that. So instead I go rook g8. My opponent throws in c takes b6, and this allows me to take on g2. So I take after a pretty long think here. I was thinking about all sorts of things. I don't know if I was considering bishop takes first. I didn't want to let him like close things down. I wanted to keep this pawn on h4. Certainly, like, no matter what, I did not want to let him close the position. So I take here. King slides over, only one move, and then I go queen g6. So far this is good, but holy cow, and I didn't even see this. Knight takes b6. Okay, well, I don't know about that. Knight takes b6 just seems kind of slow, like I'm letting black. So yeah, I don't know about that. Queen b6. I'm thrusting forwards, staying on the initiative. My idea is basically just to go here, and give checkmate. And I had a really cool idea here, actually. If my opponent doesn't respond correctly here, then it's checkmate 1. So I'll just let you guys look at this for a second, see if you can find it. If he does not address the attack, then you have, well, let's say, I don't know, let's say he makes some silly move. He goes here, you actually have the rook sack, takes, and you have checkmate here. I was really looking forward to finishing a game finally, like kind of quickly, and just checkmating my opponent. It would have still been like an hour-long game at this point, but I swear to you guys, like every damn over the board game I've had in team matches recently, I am the last person playing, and especially sucks when you lose. And just like, oh my god, so I wanted this to end, and he didn't. He responded correctly, I think. Rook G1, which stops that threat because now I can no longer take and then mate. So I go Queen G4, kind of renewing the threat. If he ever takes, it's mate, so he can't take my rook. And I don't know how he stops H3. Oh, fast forward, this is how he stops Queen H3. And after I saw it 92, I was like, dude, part of me was like, why? Why can I never just get a full-on attack where I win, where it's a forced win and I win? Why do my opponents always find some clever way to keep it going? And it's just really up to me to play really precisely. That's the thing about attacking chess, especially if you're like sacking pieces. You have to play super precisely, or you can literally give the whole game away. I'm not nearly at that point, like, but still. So 92. There's lots of things going on here. I can obviously take with the bishop, and like I have this amazing bishop lining up against the king. Of course, he can take it with the knight, and then in which case f takes e4, and like, how could this not be winning? My other teammate was watching the game and came up to me afterwards and was like, "Oh yeah, you needed to take with the bishop. You need to take with the bishop," and I couldn't remember in my head. I was like, yeah, I was looking at that, but I just kind of figured it didn't work or wasn't the best move. So it is a good move. And in this position, there are a few good moves. F takes is the best. F takes is the best. I don't entirely get why, because it does close out the bishop. I guess because he can never really take that pawn. So the knight is just kind of locked out here. I mean, he can go like F1, but that doesn't look good. Rook G1. Wait, what? Because here we have rook takes G1, check. Bishop takes. Oh, right, yeah. And then it's mate. So, yeah, it's to be really, really careful here. This is the best move. Otherwise, bishop takes is also good. And then, yeah, there's a bunch of different continuations here. So much going on. Like, knight takes, pawn takes, and then, let's see here. Queen takes e4. No one's going to play queen takes e4. What are some other b7? Yeah, he's going to play b7 check probably, something like this. And then I have to kind of be very careful with what's going on here. Like he could be very close to mating me. And this is kind of, I looked at this in the computer and I thought, yeah, like, okay, but this is kind of sketchy, literally flirting with either white gets mated or black gets mated if you don't find the right moves. Yeah, you can just stick the knight here on c5. I think that's the best move. But anyways, so that's the best continuation. What I played was not that. I played rook g8. So I'm tripling up the rooks now, just with intentions to take. And, either I can mate on g2 somehow, or I can still try to come over here on h3. And at this point, like, I was kind of discouraged when I saw queen takes f3, because I thought, holy cow. Okay, I was looking at, well, what if I take with the bishop, he trades queens, and then I take back with a discovered check? The thing is, this doesn't work because the knight can just take the bishop. If the knight weren't there, then, like, let's just imagine, I don't know, let's just imagine the knight was like over here, I go here, and then what was the move that I was thinking of doing? Let's just say he wastes another move. Okay, so let's say, like, this doesn't even work though, because he has to take with a queen, which just wouldn't make sense because now it's not defended. But let's just say, to show you guys the situation that was happening in my head, bishop takes, and then he's like, oh, I'm going to take your queen. Well, then I can take back with check, and it's actually checkmate. Let's see, rook g2, and then bishop takes g2. Can't really do anything. Just so he goes here, and then I have like mate in 1. Anyways, that's what I thought was happening. And then at the end of the line, I saw that the knight defends on e4. So I was like, oh crap, I can't play this clever move. And this doesn't work. Like rook takes g2 doesn't work. I don't really want to trade the queens off because like, okay, that's my whole advantage is my attack. Why would I trade the queens off? The best move here is queen takes f3. So I did play that. I played a queen takes f. Oh, I didn't. That's why. Right. So I thought queen takes f3. Why didn't I play this? I guess I just thought that this was bishop takes e4. That this was like roughly equal. But here bishop takes e4, rook takes, and then bishop takes f3. I don't know why I didn't go with this because I went with this, as I'll show you guys, but it went in a different order. So first, I was worried for some reason that, God, why did I do this? I don't remember. Sorry, guys. There's so many different lines I was analyzing, but I decided to be safe that I would start by taking the rook, and then he takes back with the other rook. Now I take on f3 because I thought at the end of this line there would be knight takes and then takes. I thought I would end up winning the knight at the end of this line, and I'm stupid because that doesn't work. I threw in rook takes g1, and now he takes with the king, and like now I literally just give away most all of my advantage. I do still have more pawns and a better overall. Like I was pretty sure that endgame was winning, but when I saw king takes, I was like, oh my god, I know that I did something wrong here. So anyways, rook takes, and then bishop takes. What I needed to play here was rook f8. Yeah, at this point, I think it's kind of like it was too late. I needed to not play rook takes, and I needed to play just queen takes f3 to keep this really big advantage going. But since I took there, here the best move, it says is rook f8. I don't know. This is not a superhuman looking move to me. Yes, like it's opening up the bishop. I'm protecting the pawn here, but it just looks like I'm giving up the, the g file and letting the rook infiltrate, which I don't love. So I decided to just trade because I thought this was winning a knight. It doesn't. And at this point, now we're in an endgame, and I'm just going to zoom through this, guys, because I know, what are we at here? 27 minutes. Jesus, I take so long on these videos. I do apologize. We go into an endgame. I was pretty sure I was winning this. I just had to do it carefully. I was a little bit annoyed because this should have just ended. Like, it was literally like 40 minutes or an hour more of play. But hey, I get to practice endgames, and I thought I did pretty good with this. So I decided knight takes b3 here because I'm going to end up winning a pawn. So yes, he can take my bishop, but I'm winning this pawn by force. So first, the thing is my opponent played bishop e1, kind of tricky, because if I take here, he can play here, and I can't save that pass pawn. I really like that pass pawn. I wanted to keep it alive. So I decided after knight takes, bishop e1, I had calculated all this. Like if he takes on h4, I think it's just losing because my pawn will be faster. So I ruled that out. He plays bishop e1. I see the idea of, oh, go ahead and take, and I'm going to play c4. So I decide, okay, well, hold on. Let me just play d5. I'm not in a rush. I'm going to solidify all these pawns. And now my plan is that I can take here. And if you push, then I'll let you take it. I'll let you take a5 and just take here, and I'm winning another pawn. So I go d5. He goes king g2. I take, just as I said. He goes c4. I take. Thank you for another pawn. Yeah, my pawns are all kind of separated here, but like white literally has 2 pawns left on the board, and I was pretty sure I could get this thing going down. I did actually calculate here that I had c3. So up until now, I think I played this pretty well. c3, he can't take, and he can't attack the knight. And the king is so far away from that pawn. So he starts marching the king over. I realized here I can play knight c2. c2, sorry. I am 1 square away from queening. Bishop b2 is what I saw. He pretty much has to play this. And then I have this clever move, knight c3. You can't take the knight because then I queen. And what was the other threat here? I am protecting this pawn, and I can play knight a2, or if need be, knight e2 to protect the queening square, and the bishop can never attack that pawn. Some of this like could probably just be studied in endgames and stuff. I just sort of intuitively understood, like, you need the pawn to queen. How can I get that pawn to queen without like losing the game? And this is what I came up with. So I guess it looks kind of clever, but I think it's pretty findable. King e3, yeah, he's attacking my pawn, but what's so cool about this, like, this is kind of crazy, guys. Look at this. He wants to take my knight, but he can't because I can, because I queen. He wants to take this pawn, but he can't. So he's maybe, you know, it's like it feeds into itself. He could think about taking the bishop, or sorry, taking the knight so that he can take the pawn. Neither are possible. So like white, believe it or not, is literally just stuck here. He can't do anything, and he can't even move over to get to that pawn. So like, this is crazy. He has to move. He'd have to move the bishop to get access to the d2 square, and by, you know, in that time I can play knight e3, knight e2, sorry, and queen. So I just take it easy. I'm bringing the king in. I literally don't need to do anything here. I can let him, he can go over and start attacking that pawn. All I need to do is play that, and then I'm winning. So yeah, the rest of the game, it's pretty simple. He tries to hold on here, but knight a2, bishop c1, he gives up the bishop. I take here, 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 and then my opponent resigns. The review for this game was, I played with 84% accuracy, according to the chess.com engine, like a 2250. I guess it's okay. I had one miss, two mistakes, two inaccuracies, so it definitely could have been better. But I'm also playing this NIMZO-Indian setup that I'm just not entirely familiar with. So anyway, so I did secure the win, and the team, we all actually won. So it was 4-0, including that forfeit. And I do believe so far our criterium, our division is like, has to be somewhere in the top of the pool. We've won both of our matches so far, and our national division of the club, I think we're top 2 or 3. So we've drew the first match and we've won the last 2 matches, which is pretty cool. But yeah, I definitely need to study more, play more. I want to start being able to go toe to toe with 1800s and even higher maybe. But like, really, you can just tell 1900 Fide players, for example, they're a step above. Like, they really are kind of a step above where I am. And I think what's needed for me is to really study. Like, I need to study my end games. I need to study everything, and not just play mindless chess. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoy that. While I'm here, you can see the Chestnut discounts below. I don't know if it's still 30%. I don't follow all of their discounts, but whatever you see on the website for a discount, if you are looking for an electronic chessboard, such as the one back there, that is the Chestnut Evo, you can use the code and you will get the best discount. My code always gives you 2% more of a discount than whatever is on the website. So yeah, use the ZenMind Chess code for all the Chestnut products. If you're using, or if you're buying a Chestnut Evo, then use ZenMind Evo. I do believe that's still working, and that helps me out a lot. And also, what helps me out is if you guys like and subscribe. I'm going to start up the journey to 2000 on chess.com, so you can follow that and make sure to check in my live streams. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you.